Australia rode back in the ODI leg of the multi-format tour against India. Pakistan and West Indies opened their tally for the new championship cycle. New Zealand clinically handled Zimbabwe at home. And off the field, the Women's Bangladesh Premier League pushed the game further. Let's break down what it all means. The Women's ODI series between Australia and India once again highlighted the gulf between both sides as the Aussies whitewashed the visiting Indians in the three-match series to go 8 points to 4 in the multi-format tour. The Australian batters absolutely wreaked havoc against India, with 4 spots of the top 5 run scorers featuring them. Team India also did themselves no favours by constantly chopping and changing their top order. The biggest surprise for me though was Shefali Verma's axing from the 11 and Pratika's return as opener. As much as I agree that Pratika has one of the best techniques in the sport, she's also someone with a not so great ability to rotate strike or score boundaries at will. 2 of the most important skills in this cricketing era. She struck at 76 in a series where the opposition strike rate was at 115. Another point to ponder is what the think tank's thoughts are on the current India skipper Harmanpreet Kaur. Turning 38 in less than a week's time, she played a couple of handy knocks in the first couple of games to bail India out of tricky situations. However, the usual Harman flair was missing as she failed to switch gears and accelerate the way we've come to expect of her. According to the FTP, India began the championship cycle in October against Zimbabwe. A good time to hand a few debuts and arguably move past Harman. There are enough names to consider in Anushka Sharma, Ragvi Bish, Tejal Asabnis and potentially even more. Australia's side in transition seems to be already in good hands, with Georgia Wall looking good to step into Elisa Healy's shoes, with the latter now retiring from international cricket. Despite missing out on 2 important players in Elise Perry and Kim Garth, we almost always looked in control of the proceedings throughout the series. If India's shuffled top order didn't contribute much, their high-risk option of going ahead with just the 5 bowling options in each of the games came back to haunt them. The one game where they fielded 6 bowlers, they chose to play Vaishnavi Sharma over Renuka Singh Thakur. A very puzzling call, even if you factor in Australia's supposed weakness against slow left armers. As much as they can gloat over their World Cup win, it is in their best interest to realise that they'll need to blood in more bowling options and ones that can actually add variety to their bowling attack. Harman spoke about opting to bat first in the first and second match to challenge Nipsels, but there was very little to show for barring Kashfi Gautam's all-round performance. Meanwhile, Australia have a headache of their own as injuries continue to pile up in their squad. Maitland Brown and Rachel Treneman have both now been officially drafted into the Test squad, with both Elise Perry and Kim Garth potentially being unavailable for the red ball game. West Indies managed to score their first championship points with a win in the dead rubber fixture. Chasing a total for the 3rd time in a row, West Indies brought in Ashwini Munisa to shore up their spin bowling reserves, something we'd spoken about in last week's wrap. Having restricted Sri Lanka to 217, the seniors finally showed some responsibility, as each of Janelle Henry, Deandra Doughton and Stefani Taylor chipped in to ensure skipper Hayley Matthews' turn did not go in vain. Sri Lanka continued their merry ways in the Caribbean islands as they beat West Indies in the second Women's T20I after all but defeating the home side 24 hours prior in the first encounter, before it was called off due to rain. The Windies' frailties with the bat were once again exposed, getting bundled out for 49 in the first innings before the rain gods came to their rescue. There was no such mercy in the second fixture though, with West Indies failing to defend 101 in their own backyard. The sluggish surfaces in Grenada have just not aided their aggressive brand of cricket, with only 3 of their batters scoring at a 100+ strike rate, including Karishma Ramharak, who played a 3-ball 4 before she was surprisingly adjudged obstructing the field of the last ball of the innings. Sri Lanka's slow bowlers have been admirable in their performances, but a special shout out to Malki Madra and the part-time medium pacer Nilakshika Silva. The former tied down batters by using her cutters to excellent effect, while the latter's military medium pace and wicket-to-wicket lines foxed both Doughton and Taylor. Sri Lanka got off to a flying start, with Chambari leading the way for them. At 62 for no loss after 7.2 overs, it seemed like a mere formality for Sri Lanka to notch up the win. The West Indies spinners had different plans, as they put on an exhibition in bowling, conceding just 12 runs in the next 7 overs for the loss of 5 wickets. Aided by some loose bowling from Matthews, Kavisha Dilari managed to help Sri Lanka chase down the total with 11 balls to spare. Last week was memorable for yet another Asian side, as Pakistan beat South Africa by 119 runs in the 3rd and final Women's ODI. The series might have already been won by South Africa, but these were crucial points for Pakistan, and importantly, it showed their rise in competence. Having been rightfully criticised for their conservative batting displays during the World Cup, they seem to have cut a corner during this tour. The second encounter saw them put up a valiant effort to chase a mammoth 361, falling short by just 16 runs. Opting to bowl first, Pakistan was subjected to a leather hunt by the Proteas, who had 3 of their top 5 batters score 50s, while Nidhi Niklag chipped with a quick-fire 26-ball 49 down the order to help her side finish with 360. After losing 2 wickets in the power play, Aisha Zafar and Sadaf Shammas, Pakistan's best batters in the series, put on an excellent stand to help Pakistan stay in the game. Pakistan seemed to be down and out at 199 for 6, with a mini collapse where they lost 3 wickets in the span of 7 deliveries. Except Fatima Sana and Sciver-Brunt had different plans. They helped Pakistan breach the 300 mark before getting dismissed. Diana Baig then came up with a handy contribution, helping her side come within touching distance of a historic win. In the final game, they managed to post an imposing total of 306 on the board, courtesy a great batting display by Sadaf Shammas, who fell just 3 runs short of a maiden ODI ton. Making a host of changes to their side, they couldn't have asked for a better start after being put to bat first. 161 for 2 at the halfway mark. Although Sadaf's dismissal coincided with a run choke applied by the Saffers that led to only 55 runs coming off the next 14 overs. Once again, the entry of Fatima Sana helped inject some much needed momentum in the death overs, as she hit 5 sixes to take her side past 300 and give South Africa a run for their money. Aisha Zafar and Sadaf Shammas both scored 250s in the 3-match series, and importantly, at a strike rate that would keep the opposition on their toes. Along with the experienced Muniba Ali and Sidrami, and the explosiveness of Fatima Sana, this batting lineup is unnervingly cracking the format, and soon becoming a team to beat. New Zealand comprehensively thrashed Zimbabwe to take home the Women's T20I series 3-0. Included in the ICC Women's Championship for the first time, Zimbabwe's entry to top-tier cricket was not as rosy as they would have hoped. Playing their first ever bilateral series against the top 10 side, Zimbabwe were understandably out of depth against the defending champions, and have a lot to do to start competing strongly at this level. Having picked up just 2 wickets in 25.4 overs across the 3 games, their bowlers in particular will be hoping to take these matches in their stride and learn from them sooner. Not that the batters fared any better, with all of them finding it difficult to contend with the movement, pace and spin generated by the White Ferns. Lastly, the Women's Bangladesh Premier League is moving ahead, as BCB announced player categories for the draft. The domestic pool will be divided into 5 categories, headlined by the Icon tier. Each franchise will recruit 1 icon player who will be paid 10 lakh Bangladeshi taka. 6 cricketers will be placed in Category A, earning 7 lakh Bangladeshi taka each, with franchises picking 2 players from this tier, while Category B will feature 12 players, earning 5 lakh Bangladeshi taka each. Around 20 players will be listed in Category C, with a salary of 3 lakh Bangladeshi taka. Any player unsold in Category C will be moved to Category D, which earns a base price of 1.5 lakh Bangladeshi taka. The national selector Sajjad Ahmed stated that the final categorized list will be confirmed in the coming days. Franchises will also have the option to sign overseas players directly before the draft, or pick them from the draft pool based on player interest. Overseas recruits will be categorized into 3 salary tiers: Category A for 8,000 USD, Category B for 6,000 USD, and Category C for 3,000 USD. Teams are mandated to include at least 4 overseas players in their squad and must field exactly 2 of them in the playing 11 each game. Nabil Group, the owners of the reigning men's BPL champions Rajshahi Warriors, has already formally expressed interest in acquiring a team, while there has also been interest shown in the Chattogram-based franchise as well. This bodes really well for the national side, as they've also confirmed their participation in a tri-series hosted by Scotland, along with Netherlands, ahead of the T20 World Cup in June. If you want structured, sharp breakdowns of everything happening across international and franchise cricket, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. New weekly wraps every Monday.